What is up, guys? Pie Muffin here, and we are back with another Trails in the Sky first chapter news video. So, yesterday they did drop another trailer for Trails in the Sky the First, as well as some more information just in general. The official website for Trails in the Sky first chapter has gone live. As you can see here, you get some extended animation stuff kind of going on here, showing off all the characters and different parts of the story, as well as, different crafts and stuff like that, which is pretty cool to see. Obviously, fall 2025, we already know Falcom always releases their yearly, big game at the end of September. It's always the final, in Japan, it's the final Thursday in September, and then for us in the West, it'd be the final Wednesday in September, which that would land us at, let me just see real quick. That would land us, so the final Wednesday, so that'd be the 25th in Japan of September and the 24th over here in the West. So, unless they just decide, because this is going to be the first worldwide release for a Trails game, so we don't know how they're going to handle it in terms of releases for the West. Like, are they just going to both come out on the exact same day, so it'll be the 24th for us, 25th for them, or is it just going to be the 25th, and then the West will just be like a day behind? We don't know yet because there's no official release date yet, just fall, but that is very likely when the game is going to come out, so just a little over 6 months from now, this will come out. But there is quite a bit to talk about here with all of this news. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. I have some other stuff pulled up we'll look at here in a second. So first things first, let's go over here to characters. You have the artwork for the 8 main characters of Trails in the Sky, obviously, for the first game. You've got Estelle, Joshua, Scheherazade, Olivia, Agate, Chloe, Tita, and Zin. Zin, obviously, we've been seeing a lot of since he's been in the, obviously, I'm going to talk about games that have come out already. Obviously, the last 2 Calvard games, we've had Zin. This is obviously much earlier Zin, 6 to 7 years younger than we've had him in the Calvard games. Everyone else here we haven't seen since Reverie. Everyone else here was in Reverie to some extent. Like, Chloe was obviously not playable, and same thing with Scheherazade, but Agate, Tita, Olivia, Joshua, and Estelle were all playable in Reverie, so we've seen them, a handful of years ago, or a handful of releases ago, rather. So we do have the full English cast shown on the website here. If you are someone who plays these games in English, from what I understand, I believe most people are reprising their role as they are in Reverie on the English side. I think I heard someone say that Agate has a different voice actor than usual, so I guess there was some change that happened there. And on the Japanese side, I'm not going to pull it up because obviously it's going to be in Japanese. You're not going to be able to read it anyway. But the unfortunate thing on the Japanese side is almost everybody except for Olivier, and Zin have been replaced voice-wise for the Japanese release. And it seems like the reason they're doing this is because they want to have more... They're trying to appeal to a newer, younger audience. So they are trying to get voice actors who are going to appeal to a broader kind of fan base. They're trying to pull in more fans. So I think that's obviously what they're trying to do with that, which obviously has a lot of fans very confused because it makes us wonder, so what does this mean? Are these new voices only going to be for the remakes, or are they going to carry over into the mainline games? Obviously, once again, I'm going to talk about a little bit of spoilers up through Daybreak 2 at this point, but the obviously they're keeping Zin because he's been in the last 2 Calvard games. So there's really not a reason to change his voice actor because they already have someone who's been working. Obviously, everyone else here besides Zin has not been in a game since Reverie, so they haven't needed any of their voice actors to do so. And it was also kind of sad because Joshua's Japanese voice actress was actually kind of bummed out the other day, finding out through the trailer that she was not going to be voicing Joshua anymore, at least for the remake. Like I said, we don't know what's going to happen for the mainline games. We don't know if this is just for the remakes. They're going for a new, set of cast, so they can draw in more people, and then, you know, the mainline games keep the original voices, since these characters are obviously a lot older. Like, obviously, you look here with Estelle, you know, it shows right here, as of Trails in the Sky first chapter, she is 16 years old. But we know, you know, obviously this first chapter takes place in the year 1202 in the Trails calendar, and Trails Through Daybreak 2 was at the beginning of 1209. So obviously it's 7 years later. So she's, as of Daybreak 2, even though she doesn't appear in the game, she is 22 years old as of, you know, that game. And you can just, you know, you add 6 or 7 years onto each character's age here, and that's what they are right now in the current game. So yeah, that's kind of a weird thing they're doing with the voicing stuff is, you know, obviously changes. Some people are, you know, okay with it. You know, it doesn't bother them that much, and some people are very upset. Like, it's actually going to be a deal breaker for them that they don't want to play. They'll either play the games in English, or, you know, they might not play the remakes because the voices are different than what they have grown to love. Because I think that's what a lot of people were excited about, was just, you know, obviously people who played the original Trails in the Sky trilogy, you know, through the PC port with the Japanese, you know, patch on it, like I did. I think a lot of people were kind of hoping that all those voices were going to be back, but we obviously have a lot of new people here. So that's what it comes down to with that. Also, kind of funny, once again, you know, spoiler territory for future games, but in almost all of the stuff for Olivier's, like, artwork for this thing, you know, he has his left eye closed in a lot of this stuff, and it almost feels, I mean, obviously right here they show him for a second, it was his right eye blinking. But for a lot of the material they've shown us so far for Olivier, he is winking with that eye, which we already know, or keeping it closed, which we already know what happens to that eye, you know, in much later games. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, so that's pretty much it when it comes to that. We obviously have the announcement trailer. I'm not going to play it, but it pretty much just goes through, you know, each character. You know, you get some slides here. I can at least mute this and play it. Trails in the Sky first. It goes through some slides of some things you're going to see in the game, whether they're crafts or, you know, story animations. Obviously, a lot of these for Estelle and Joshua are ones that we saw in the initial trailers. And then when you get to Charizard and beyond, that's where you get to start seeing some new stuff. Especially with Olivier and the rest of them, it's going to be kind of new in comparison. You got Chloe here. You got them on the boat. So everything just looks super clean. If it wasn't for the, you know, stuff with the voice actor situation with the Japanese side, I feel like, you know, it would be unanimous that people would be excited for this. And obviously you got Zin right there. And then it just shows, you know, take flight, and then it says coming fall 2025. Obviously coming to Nintendo Switch, PS5, and Steam. I assume the Switch 2 is obviously going to be out by then, but I don't know if they're going to have a Switch 2 version of this game day one. So odds are that they might just do like an upgraded version somewhere down the line, but we'll wait and see with that. And obviously it's PS5, no PS4 anymore, so we're kind of leaving that generation behind. They did also, obviously, they have all the posts here, a bunch of pictures on Gung Ho's official Twitter, you know, showing all that kind of stuff with the remake. And then we also did get some, there was a weekly Famitsu that came out today that just shows kind of more stuff here. A lot of stuff you see in the trailer and on the website. There's nothing too crazy here. It's pretty much just going over everything we know, you know, kind of introducing the characters and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to just kind of, you know, see everything here. And it does seem like, once again, besides the voice stuff, that they are keeping things pretty authentic. The only real big changes are that, obviously, we know at some point they are going to incorporate lore that wasn't introduced until later, so it makes sense in here. So, you know, stuff that we find out later, maybe about Cassius and stuff, you know, may get first introduced in the remake instead of us, you know, waiting to find out, you know, later in the series. Or, like, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but obviously the character that Ren meets in between Sky SC and Sky Third, we may see that character in Sky Third as like, you know, like a daydream situation where they kind of show a cutscene of her meeting that character. So stuff like that will obviously be implemented to make things make more sense on a global scale, especially if this remake thing continues to go on, because if all 3 remakes of the Sky trilogy work out well, you know, maybe they'll just immediately move on to Crossbell and do Zero and Azure. I still personally think, and I probably mentioned this before, I do think the remakes at least should go as far as Cold Steel 2. Cold Steel 1 and 2, I still would say, need remakes more than the Sprite games, more than, you know, Sky through Azure, just because Falcom did not have a great transition into 3D, and that's why there's no real, like, good cinematic stuff in that game. Like, even, you know, the infamous Fee vs. Laura scene when they're in the Capitol is obviously one of the most memed on scenes in the game, because it's literally supposed to be a cutscene, but it's really just both characters standing still and they're just using their crafts. It's just, instead of being in battle, it's out of battle. But yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much everything to go over. I'm not sure when pre-orders are going to go live. Obviously, we know it's 6 months away, so I feel like at least within the next month or 2 months at the most, they have to do pre-orders, because you know, if people, they're doing physical versions of this game, so people need to be able to put their pre-orders in. And then you can wishlist it on the PlayStation Store, but obviously we don't know what the pre-order situation is going to be like for that. So that's pretty much all I've got when it comes to Trails in the Sky First Chapter. Let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know if you're excited. I will still be playing with the Japanese voices when I do the playthrough. When I do my playthrough on the channel, even though there'll be new voices. You know, if it was going to be a 1-for-1 remake and there weren't any changes being made, I might not have even done a playthrough, but I feel like it's just, you know, why not? I'm going to be playing it anyway. So obviously once the end of September rolls around, we will be doing our technical second blind playthrough of a Trails game on the channel. My first one was obviously Nayuta. Nayuta I had never played before it came out to the West, so obviously that was a completely blind playthrough. And this will obviously not be super blind, because obviously I played the original Sky trilogy multiple times at this point. So the only thing we'll be kind of looking out for is what changes really get made to the overall, you know, characters and story. So that's pretty much all I've got. So that's going to be it, guys. Let me know what you guys think down below. Don't forget to subscribe more if you're new to the channel. I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day, everyone.